What is up, YouTube? This is DEFCON 3 Security coming at you from somewhere here on Spaceship Earth. Actually, at the moment, I am in my 2000 Honda Civic. This will be my new daily driver, as the Toyota FJ Cruiser just kills you on gas. I actually save on this car just driving to work every month $290 a month on gas, which is basically an entire car payment, right? Speaking of saving money and pay, the topic of this video is how to make more money as a security guard. And sorry if I look around, I've got a lot of movement around me. Haven't started work just yet, but just seems to be a lot of people around, and we always got to be on point, right? All right, so step number one to making more, and if you wait till like the last step, it'll be worth it. Okay. So yeah, step number one, negotiate better pay. If you could just start the job off making a decent amount of money, you're halfway there. You know, a lot of people will, and I've mentioned this in a lot of my videos, so I'll keep it brief, but a lot of people will start a company without negotiating pay. And I'm just making up these numbers. They start at $15 an hour, not knowing that they could have made $18 an hour if they had negotiated it better. So try to negotiate a good pay before you even take the job, right? Step number two, definitely, if you can, become an armed guard. I mean, really, that's where all the money is in security. It's being an armed guard. Unarmed guards can make decent amount of money, but typically they'll never make as good amount of money as a guard that is armed. And when you are armed, it also opens up more possibilities for you, right? Just like having different caliber weapons. When you apply as a guard, it will say, well, what caliber weapon do you have? And you know, you could say, oh, I have a 9 mil or 40 mil. The more weapons that you are qualified for, the more likely you are to get that job. Some companies require 40 caliber guns, some require 9, so it really just depends on the company, but it's good to have all three of them. Generally, it costs you like an extra $50 to have an extra caliber put on your certificate when you become an armed guard. This one I don't condone, but talking to enough guards, I know that they do it and it seems to work, and that is work under the table. You know, a lot of guards do work under the table, and the advantage to that, well, you don't pay taxes. Again, I don't condone this, but it's out there, so I thought I would put it on this list. Yeah. Another way to make more money is get a job in the state or in a government capacity when it comes to security. You know, government jobs have historically always paid more when it comes to apples to apples. You know, if you I've seen this happen plenty of times. I run my own pool maintenance company. If I land government contracts, I make like 4 times as much money than if I just do residential homes. So certainly, you know, look around for jobs that are located in the government sector in security, and you'll find yourself getting not only benefits and a pension when you retire, but you'll be making a lot more money. So I will say that those jobs are hard to come by, as everybody wants them, but it's certainly made its way on my list because I know it makes more money. Have a good resume. You know, part of negotiating your value and your worth when it comes to getting a job is having a good resume. If your resume stands out and they see that you have the experience or the skill set that they're looking for, they're more likely to give you more money just right off the bat. So or you'll have more likely of a chance that employer will call you back, because the first thing you do before you talk to anybody is you offer them your resume, and then maybe you get a call back, maybe you don't, but your resume is where it all starts. You know, when I was a kid or growing up, there weren't really resumes per se. You would just show up to a site and they would interview right there on the spot. But with today's technology, they want you to upload a resume, and you're competing with a lot more people than you did back then for one job, since people could just spam the resumes. Another tip. Sorry, I got to make sure everything's okay. I'm looking at what's behind me. Okay. Another tip is to work a 12-hour shift. A lot of security companies offer 8-hour shifts and 12-hour shifts. Well, with that 12-hour shift, not only are you making your 8 hours, but you're getting 4 hours of overtime every day, which is roughly time and a half. So that is certainly something to consider. I happen to work 13-hour shifts, so it certainly does pay to do so. And then you find yourself working less days because you're working more hours. Companies like to keep you at 40 hours or below. In my case, I work 40 hours in a 3-day span instead of working 5 days a week at 8 hours. So not only do you save time, but you make more money. And on that same token, now that I have 4 days a week open, I can get to the next point on this list, and that is take side jobs. You know, apply at a lot of security companies and let them know that you're only able to work 1 or 2 days a week on call. And hey, these days that you have off, you could possibly work side jobs and make some extra money. I'm sorry, I got to speed this up because there's just too many people around me. Watch my channel, subscribe, like, comment. You know, this is a journey for me as it is for you, and the more I learn, the more I relay this information to you. So definitely watch my channel and get updates on what I learn, and hopefully this can translate into you moving up in that sector, right? And last but not least, well, there's actually one more, and I totally forgot. So this isn't last but least on here is start your own company. When it all comes down to it, if you really want to make some big bucks, you got to start your own company. Working for somebody, you'll always be limited. There will be a ceiling that you cannot shatter because you'll never become the CEO of the company unless some rare or weird circumstances present themselves. But here's the last but least bonus. Drive further if you have to. You know, where I live at, I'm just throwing this number out, but the average armed guard makes 15, 16 bucks an hour in my town, right? If you travel an hour out of your town, all of a sudden you're making 30 bucks an hour. You know, so it might be worth it to drive that extra hour or 1 hour a day to make twice the amount of money versus trying to stay in your small town and make that small town salary. I definitely feel it's worth it. Whenever you're searching for a job, instead of, you know, let me just throw out a fake name of somewhere. Let's say you live in, I don't know, Timbuktu. It's a small town. When you're searching for a job in security, don't limit it to just your town. Make the radius further out. Make it like 1 hour away from your town. That way you get more results when it comes to looking for a job. Try to think of big cities. If you're, you know, Dallas, San Francisco, Los Angeles. If you're 1 hour away from any of these big cities, by all means, search for jobs in those areas, not your area. Okay? All right, guys. Thank you. Know your worth, know your value. Above all, be safe.